We're a settlement house, and we were started in 1971 by the North Broadway United Methodist Church. And what they did was they set aside 10% of their capital campaign for helping out the local neighborhood. And in starting our center in 1971, we were located at a little house just a few doors down from here. And in 1981, we came to our current location, which is one of the first 4 branch library buildings in Columbus. And we got our building for $1.
The job first appealed to me because of the location. I wanted to work at CRC because I loved the settlement house movement. It's old school social work, and CRC's roots are in the settlement house movement.
I was like 17, and I was built like a very skinny person, and they used to dump me down in dumpsters to gather the food for the food pantries back then, before there was a Mid-Ohio Food Bank or anything like that. So we were back in the old days before this stuff, and I just never stopped.
Most agencies are focused on a particular social problem, like Alzheimer's disease or addiction, or maybe it's somebody that has arthritis or some individual specific problem. For settlement houses, it's different in that we look at a geographic area, typically a neighborhood, and we help anyone that lives in that area with whatever problem or situation they have to just help them to lead a better life. Well, we have 25 paid employees. About half of those are full-time. The other half are part-time. And then in a year's time, we have about 300 volunteers. So we have a lot of volunteers that come and help us here. We really couldn't do the work we do without the volunteers.
CRC is an agency where everybody lends a hand. So when a truck gets here to deliver food, everybody goes and helps. The executive director, social workers, everybody does.
85 to 90% of the food is actually purchased through the Mid-Ohio Food Bank. We do get about, I would say, somewhere in the neighborhood of 10% or less from the general population within our area.
Well, there's a cafe down the street, Mozart's Cafe. Some of the other workers may have told you about it, but they host some of our fundraisers and donate thousands of dollars to us through that.
We've started fundraisers for them since '97. We've crossed raising over $150,000 for them. And so we do a fundraiser for them, at least 2 fundraisers a year for them, where we open up the restaurant, they sell tickets, they're involved with the collection, everything, they do the marketing for it, but we have a packed house. And, in the 3 hours, probably it's always been over $10,000.
The area that all agencies always need help in is funding. And it'd be nice if we'd be able to just get by on volunteer help and accomplish all we need to do. But unfortunately, the issues that we're addressing require an enormous amount of resources to address. So it requires paid staff with social work experience to be able to handle these complex problems and to be able to provide people adequate resources.
These are benefit bank forms that people need to use. This is St. Stephen's, just a referral form. We will serve anybody in the city food one time, but then we refer them to the pantry closer to them. We have free transportation for seniors and cancer patients. And another form I'm sad to say I'm using more and more often is the claim of zero income form. To get any help in the city, you have to prove how you're living on your own, and more people have no income, and yet they have to show where they're getting their food, how they're keeping their shelter and their living expenses.
You could come here while you're looking for a job, and we'll help you out with food and whatever else you might need while you're in between jobs. And sometimes we even have information about where there are jobs in the community that people can work.
The greatest benefit for me working at CRC has been learning a lot about the different resources available here at CRC and in the community.
Kinship Care Program is a fairly new program for us. It's only a couple years old, and it's to help people who are raising their relatives' children. And the majority of the time, that's grandparents who are raising their grandchildren.
We have a variety of clientele. We have homeless individuals, and they're only interested in something that they can utilize today.
When a person comes here, they're going to be welcome, not just as a person that we can help, but as a person, as a friend even.
I think the first time anybody walks through these doors, it's a very terrifying experience.
Not everybody is happy. I mean, people are going through crisis, so they aren't always, excited to be here. So when they come here, they're going to find a group of people who are family and sort of welcoming them into that.
We're in the midst of a recession. So there's been an increase in the number of households that need our help.
In 1 month this year is what we did for the whole year 4 years ago. So we have over 400 households, between 350 and 400 households a month now. That was what we had for the whole year 1 year. So, and that's over 2,000 individuals that we're feeding.
What we've heard anecdotally from our neighbors is that a lot of them are combining households so as to be able to pay their bills and to be able to get by.
I think we've seen more people, especially this year, in 2010, that normally would not have come and asked for assistance at an agency like us.
I worked with people who have lost 2 and 3 jobs and have been laid off from 2 and 3 jobs. I've worked with people from all different backgrounds. I mean, software developers, professors, artists, parents, just so many different backgrounds. And for whatever reason, they've lost their income.
I didn't want her to leave with a weapon, and so I held on to the backpack, and then she started struggling with me. And she kicked me, she pulled my hair, she gouged my arm. I worked in community mental health for 10 years before coming here, and people being agitated and having to restrain them was a common thing. Mm-hmm. I know how to handle it, and I rarely have to do that here, but I had to today. So.
A lot of our quote-unquote clients are also volunteers, and they also come just to hang out, just to say hi. I mean, they've known some of the workers here for years and years. And my supervisor has clients that she worked with when they were children, and they know them now, and they volunteer here now, and she writes letters for them to go to college. So CRC is so much like a family.
In the last 2 years, I've been getting guys off the streets, and it's a very slow process, but for this Mother's Day, 3 of them got me Mother's Day cards to thank them for getting housing. And so even though some of them are older than me, just to know that I've actually changed lives, and I'm willing to do it for the long haul.
The doors are open more and more, and more businesses are helping. And if everybody does their little part, I think they're good for the community.
When I can come in here and someone has a need and I'm able to help them with it, if it's just filling out an application, if it's putting their paperwork together for them to get replacement of their birth certificate or other, private personal documents like that, you're helping somebody. And as long as you're able to give someone else a helping hand, you're helping your own self.